Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow, bringing you guys another deck profile. This time we're going to be going over the purple-black Luffy list that we used last week for locals. But before we get into the video, like always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the bell to get the notifications when videos go up. And as always, Susha's favorite line, use code SGTCG on Dueling Guard for 5% off your order for whatever you decide to order, or you can use the link down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into this deck profile, starting off with the leader. If you guys haven't seen on the vlog, go ahead and check it out. It was the last video posted, but we had to pick it up. Attach one Don to your leader. It gives your entire field +1 cost, which is essentially starter 14 Luffy, with an extra ability of once per turn, on your turn, you get, when 2 or more Don are sent back to the Don deck, you get to ramp 1 is active and 1 is rested. So I tried to utilize the leader ability as much as possible, and you're going to see here in the deck profile. But going into the first character, which is our only 1 cost, we're running a 3 of Trafalgar Law. It's a 1k counter. On play, look for a Straw Hat type character or a Heart Pirates type character with the cost of 2 or more. That's the only catch. So if you see a Gum Gum Giant in your search, you're whiffing your counter event to the bottom of the deck. It's only good to try to find your Zoro, which is your early game ramp, and to put pressure, and we're going to go over that in a second. Or essentially finding your 2Ks or other pieces that you need. So that's the main gist for the law. Next character we are running is a 2 of One-Legged Toy Soldier. It's a 2k, not searchable, but it's also my only form of one of my only forms of reduction in the deck. Activate main, you may trash this character, give something -3. So comboing this with Sanji, you can get rid of an 8 cost. With Top Knot, a 7. With Kaido, you can get rid of a 10. So it does allow me to get rid of a lot of stuff on the field, so it's good to try to set up early, and they are going to try to remove it as soon as possible. But yeah, on to the next card. It is a 1 of. We are running a Shiki. It is a blocker with an on play. If I have 8 or more Don, you get to draw 1 and trash 1. So this is one way to filter my hand to try to find pieces that I need, or getting rid of bricks to find more counter later in the game. All 3 of these can be comboed off of Moria. Law will search. The One-Legged Toy Soldier, if it sticks, it's reduction, which they want to get rid of. And the Shiki is a blocker and a form of reduction. So all useful in their own ways. But on to my best turn 2 play, which you want to find with Law if you don't open up with it, is Zoro from OP9. It's got an on play. You can return up to 1 or more Don, which you want to do 2 Don to activate your leader ability. You ramp an active Don with the Zoro. So you want to on play the Zoro, use the ability, ramp 1 Don back. Leader will see the 2 you sent back from the Zoro, ramp an active and arrested, putting you up 1 Don, but it gives you 2 Don to swing 7 with your leader, and then gives a blanket, +1 cost, making this a 4 on your next turn, and making it a little bit more difficult to remove than it would have at a 2. So that is the best turn 2 play, especially for ramping to put pressure. But if you do not see the Zoro and you are unable to search, that is what the next card is for, and that is the Black Maria. We're running it at a 4 of, not searchable, so it gives us more of a chance to see it. It's a 2k counter with an activate main ability. If you do not have another Black Maria on the field, you can add up to 5 Don from your Don deck, but at the end of your turn, you have to go down to whatever your opponent is at. So obviously, we want to put ourselves up to like 5 Don, I guess, on our turn 2, which we will drop back down to 2. However, our turn is not done because our leader sees the effect and will trigger and will ramp an active and arrested, putting us at 4 Don, giving us that ramp, but unable to swing 7, how I would do with Zoro. So, and also we want to keep this for counter. So that is another form of ramping. I do not run the Bond Clays. We could talk about that later. But under the next 3 costs and the last one, we are running the Usahachi. Starter deck 18, goated card. Searchable 2k counter off Law, but it's got an on play. If you have 8 or more Don, you get to rest up to a 5 cost. So it's a way to get around the Sabos, Kids, and your Boas. you know, when you're trying to go lethal. So definitely a must 4 of in the deck. On to the next card. We're now getting into our 4 costs, which is how we filter the deck out. And that is one of the cards being an Onami from starter 18 as well. 1k counter. On play, if you have 8 or more Dawn, discard 1 card from your hand, draw 2. So with this ability, it's replacing itself and a potential brick or something that I don't need to draw into, you know, the stuff that's not searchable, like the one-legged toy soldier, Black Maria, or counter cards, or your top end, which again, a lot of the cards are not searchable for the top end. So you can combo it off Moria, it's great, but you do have to be at 8 Dawn, which is the benefit of the next card, which is Frankie from OP9. The super rare, on play, Dawn -2, trash 1, draw 2. So essentially the same thing that Nami's doing, except with the Dawn -2, you trigger your leader ability and you ramp an active back and you get arrested. But again, you can attach the Dawn onto your leader and you can give the blanket, making this a 5 cost, and you're swinging for 6. Potential 7 because you still have 2 Dawn left. Oops. But yeah, the Frankie and the Nami are a way to filter out the hand to get those pieces that you need. Frankie being able to do on my 3rd Dawn, or my 3rd turn, since if I want to go first, I'll be at 6, leaving me with 3 active Dawn, since I do ramp it back from leader, to potentially like play out another law or swing for 8 or swing 6, 7. And all combo off of Moria. So I could play this off Moria, I could play the Nami with the Shiki, essentially filtering and sculpting my hand exactly how I want to do it. So great combo. Next card is one of my only KO cards, and that is Sanji. On play, if I have a 6 cost or more, you get to KO up to a 5 cost. So on my 6 Dawn turn, which is probably 3 if I ramped, I'll attach a Dawn to my leader, giving the effect. Sanji on play will see itself as a 6 cost, allowing me to pop a 5 cost body. So again, you combo this with Toy Soldier, you can pop an 8 cost. Or Nico Robin can KO a 5 or a 10 cost. So great card. Again, it's searchable. I just need to make sure that I have a 6 cost and that Dawn needs to be attached to my leader. If that's the only thing, I don't have any top end on the field. So next card in the field, another Straw Hat that is searchable. I'm running a 2 of Nico Robin. It's got the on play when attacking. If I have a character with the cost of 8 or more, I get to give something -5. So essentially an Ice Age that can swing, which is great. It can put a lot of pressure on my opponent. When this hits the field, they want to get rid of it pretty much instantaneously, because next turn I want to drop a top end card, because this needs to be at 8. So even with leader ability, it cannot utilize itself. It needs to see one of my 9 drops or 8 drop Gecko. But comboing this with Sanji or Top Knot, I can get rid of essentially a 10 or a 9 cost. So that's why it's very valuable, and it's swinging for 7, so it's going to ask for 2 cards from my opponent or clear whatever I'm swinging at. Next card we have is the Blocker Sanji, the 2k from OP7. If you have 2 or less Dawn than your opponent, you get to play this for 3 cost, which is great. Mainly a 2k for me. I'm never really playing it out. Again, it's searchable from Law, so that's really its only value for me. I could cut it and add maybe more removal, but I kind of like where the deck is at. I did go pretty much 5 and 2 with it, so positive ratio with the deck, so not too upset with it. Other than this Sanji, we are running the 7 cost Sanji from OP9. Love this card. So on play, Dawn -1 or more Dawn, you want to do 2 to trigger leader. It gains rush and you can rest up to a 6 cost. So when I play this out, I want to rest, you know, my opponent's character and swing big at it. So I will attach the Dawn that my leader ramps back to swing for 8 if it's a 6 cost. So ask for 2 cards from their hand to, you know, dwindle their hand or remove the pressure from the field. This is good early game pressure. If I go second, majority of the time I am playing it on my 4th turn, fourth turn, since turn 2, no, yeah, turn 3 actually, because turn 2 would be my 4-Dawn turn, and I would potentially have ramped. So third turn, this is already hitting the field and putting pressure on my opponent. Going into my top end, other than the Sanji, obviously, we are running a 3 of Gecko Moria. We all know what Gecko Moria does. On play, bring back 2 characters, one with the cost of 4 or less, or 2 or less, 1 active, 1 rested. Again, we combo the Moria with the Frankie or the Onami to filter our hand, and the Law to gain a card, or the Shiki to continue further to sculpt the hand. So with comboing with these cards, it's essentially replacing itself and another card from the hand, so I'm not losing anything while playing Moria. So not only that, but it's an 8/9 and it's there to put pressure. And with leader ability, and you attach a Don, it makes it a 9 cost, so it makes it even more awkward to remove off the field. So love Gecko. 3 of is fine for me, because going into the next, it's basically 2 of for the top end. And on to the next one, we are running a 2 of Kaido from OP8. So it's the only activate, well, other than Toy Soldier, only top end that's an activate main. And I have these specifically for the Blackbeard matchup, so it can remove Burgess or the 10 cost. Because if I combo the one-legged Toy Soldier with the Kaido, it would be able to remove the 10 drop that turn. Or if the Nico Robin's stuck, it can help with this. So I discard 1 card from my hand. My opponent trashes a 7 cost or less of my choosing, and they discard 1. So very beneficial. I have thought about cutting this card and potentially adding other stuff, but we're just testing it out. I don't know if I'm going to play it again very soon, but we'll see. But other than that 9-drop, we are running the original 9-drop Kaido with from starter deck 14. On play, Don -5. It gains rush, and you get to KO a 6 cost on the field. So great in the Dofi matchup if you can make it there. You pop one of their active ones, swing at their rested board. You're clearing their board to take the pressure off of you and making them focus potentially on this with like a red rock, or they're just going to swing at faces, you know, as much as they can. But if I'm able to establish the Frankie and the Nami the turn prior, it gives me some type of room to put pressure on them. And if I'm at 10 Don, since my leader sees a Don -5, will ramp 2 back. Next turn I will be at 9 Don again, and I could play another one back to back. So pretty insane what this deck can do with the Don -8. And on to my last top end, I am running a 2 of Secret Rush Luffy from OP9. Return up to 1 or more Don. This gains rush and you draw a card, so it's replacing itself. And if you haven't noticed, that's kind of what it's revolving around, replacing itself and ramping itself back as much as possible. But yeah, this is pretty much pressure. 9-10, swinging at the face if I have to, or clearing board. I 10 cost Nika Luffy is great, because when it Don minus is 10, your leader is going to ramp back 2, and then it can ramp back an active with its own ability, putting you at 3. You pass turn yourself, you're at 5 already. I personally would rather play it like this, because the 10 drop Luffy will bottom deck your entire field, and by that point I'm probably already wide with top end bodies, so I'd rather just continue to put pressure with what I have on the field than bottom decking it. I might change my mind on that, but for now I'm not running it. This is all the characters that I have. So we'll be going into the events, starting with our 1 cost most essential counter card, and that is Gum Gum Giant. Running it at a 4 of Don -2 plus 4k, discard 1 card, draw 2. This card is absolutely busted, and I have lost to Pluffy because of this card. So it is a way to cycle out your bricks, because I do have a decent amount of them, and potentially drawing into more of the 2Ks or 1Ks that I have in the deck. Very great card, but again, is not searchable from Law. So you could bottom deck it. On to the next card, and this is pretty much removal here. 1 of Gum Gum Lightning. Don -2. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 6,000 or more. You know, you can use this to remove Yasops in the Shanks matchup, which Shanks is just a terrible match for me. But Dofi, this can remove anything that they play on the field, essentially, with the exception of like Jozu. I like it. Might not bump it up, might cut it, but it's okay where it's at. And for the last card, we are running 2 of Top Knot. This is something I want to bump up, but I need more reduction in my opinion. But Don -2, bottom deck a 4 cost or less to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So great to remove Burgess. Again, Burgess cannot be KO'd. The only way around it is trashing. So I might cut the 9 cost Kaidos and potentially add 2 more Top Knots. That's something that I might do, because then it could also be used to remove my opponent's field if they do decide to go wide early game. So good reduction, because I can at least see this and use this compared to the Kaidos, because I'd have to wait late game. But I have seen lists running Bon Clays early ramp. It's not bad, it's great, because then that ramp can add it to your leader and then gives it the blanket 1 and protects it a little bit longer, so you can use its ability. I primarily focused on the Don -. I think the deck has a lot of potential. I just don't know how to crack it yet. But I'm sure there's going to be a nasty list for this deck eventually. But as always, if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video. Comment down below any suggestions that you guys have for the list. I was suggested the 3 cost Brooks from EB01. I might test it out, replacing some stuff, because it will give me a -1 reduction. But I feel like I need just a little bit more reduction. And again, that's where you're playing into the aspect of black more than purple. So we'll see. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys on the next one.